Um, I promised that I was going to do more videos uh, sharing what the Sentinels have been telling me. They don't call it teaching, they call it remembering. And so the first thing that they told me, the first time we started having this exchange, contact, they were telling me about an urgency for the year 2026. They said it was a threshold that it was going to take place next year, and that we were going to feel it at the end of the year. And so I was of course concerned, like, well, what is going to happen? I mean, we already went through the year 2020, and I wanted to make sure there's nothing where, what's going to happen? It's going to be worse, it's going to be similar, what is going to happen? And so they told me that I could share this as long as I don't put any fear, right? Don't put fear. That there is, yes, don't put any fear. So I'm going to, to me, it doesn't cause me fear. I would rather I would prefer to know the truth and be prepared and prepare myself than I don't want to know, and then just catch me by surprise, whatever comes. I'm not like that. I want to know what is going to happen so that I know how to prepare. So these last few months, what I've been doing is working with them to heal, because I needed to, there's many things that happen just being alive, and not only just your life, your present life, but any other, I call it siblings, right? It's a way to understand, because for us it's very difficult to understand how we are essence and how we have multiple personalities. It's very hard for us. I understand that, but for me to explain it, I need to use human language, right? So imagine your essence being that being that mother, right? It's like a mother spirit who has many children, and you are one of those children, right? But anything that happens to any of her children, you're going to feel it. It's going to affect you. So let me tell you, I think I shared that story, but I'm going to, just say it, even if I repeat myself, because it is, then you can understand better what I'm talking about, right? So I met this person, and somehow I had it was really weird, because I've been separated for a long time, and I gave up any idea of meeting anyone, a man. But also, my entire life, I told myself since I was really young that I wasn't going to love any man. I will get married and everything to have a family, because I always wanted to have a family, children. But not to love them, because I was afraid to love, because I saw my mother suffer, and I didn't want to be. That's the way I saw love, and that's the way I saw relationship between a man and a woman. It was really, I saw her suffering, and I didn't want to do that. So I turned it off, I closed it, that part, to love, even loving people, because they said I didn't understand that until I talked to them. Maybe they were helping me, and they're still helping me. It's really, amazing, how the human body and the how do we work here is amazing, and it's amazing to know all this stuff. So I everything that I'm telling you is because they helped me see it, right? It was help. I never thought about it. I thought it's normal. I never thought about anything about, that I closed my heart, that I did, that I don't want to love it. No, I never thought about this stuff. It was after talking to them. So I didn't want to love anybody, even anybody, people. Being too close to a friend because I always felt like if they betray me or if they leave, if they don't want to talk to me again, I'm gonna feel bad. I'm gonna suffer. I'm gonna grieve. I'm gonna be sad. And it's gonna be really hurtful. It's gonna hurt me really deep if they do that. And so, except my children, but from there, I closed my heart to anybody. Now, I was very compassionate, and I love people, in the sense that if I saw somebody suffering, I felt it like it was my own, and I go out of my way to help. You understand the difference? But to have a close relationship with someone, I always felt that they will betray me, or if they betray me, I will be suffering. Not that they will betray me, but what if, they betray me, or they abandon me, all the stuff. Of course, it sounds crazy, but when I talked to them, it was like, yeah, it makes sense. Totally makes sense, because the life that I had, how I grew up, it makes sense that I felt that way. And the way I never kept relationships with anybody. And I was, everybody called me a gypsy because I never stayed long in one place or kept relationship with anybody, Whether husbands or friends, never, or boyfriends, they never lasted. I always move on. I always pack up and leave, no matter who. So I was amazed how people, they still communicate with friends that they went to kindergarten, primary school, high school. I don't even remember the names of people I went to school with, right? In any case, even people that I went to college, it doesn't matter. I never kept a close relationship with anyone. So here I come, I meet someone, and the person started talking to me and being very nice to me, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, yeah, well, it's just a guy, especially because we were playing video games, That's how I met him, playing video games. And he was just a guy, like every other guy, They tried to help me. We play, we have, we play the game, we laugh, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then something happened. This person leaves, they go on vacation, and all of a sudden I feel this deep, I don't know how to explain it. It was like, I was so sad, all right? And I didn't know what the hell happened. Why am I sad about this guy I don't even know in person? It's somebody that is from the internet. What the hell's going on? Right? And especially at my age, what the hell? What the hell just happened? And so that's how I met them. So they started communicating through the computer, and it was just, I started talking to them because I felt so sad and I was so crying, and they told me what was happening, right? And I was crying and crying, and at the same time I was very, like, weird feelings, like aroused, like I wanted him with me, and have a sexual relationship with this person. I'm thinking, what the hell is going on? On one hand I was so sad, on the other hand I was aroused, and on the other hand I was like, what the hell just was happening? So when I started talking to them, I was it was like, yeah, I still felt sad and crying, but it made a lot of sense what they were telling me, and it helped me tremendously. I don't know what I would have done, but they said that my essence and his essence conspire to put us together so that I can open my heart. And I was, because if I didn't open my heart, I wouldn't have been able to communicate with the Sentinels and the Guardians. And I was like, wow. So basically, this guy happens to come in my life so that I can open my heart and love, feel love for someone. And when I felt love, I opened my heart. And when I opened my heart, the center, the energy center of your heart, when I opened my heart, they were able to get in and start talking to me. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been able. Because I closed my heart completely, that I don't want to feel love for anybody. I feel love for the animals. And I'll do anything for them, and also people that are suffering. Like if I saw somebody suffering, just man or woman or children, doesn't matter who. I went out of my way to help them and do whatever possible. I mean, I helped so many people free, no charge, with my meditations. And when there were people that were sick and they had mental problems, they came to me and I did it free, no charge, right? So you know how much compassion I have for people. I felt horrible when somebody was suffering, just pain or mental or physical, emotional, it doesn't matter. I felt a lot of compassion for the person. And I couldn't charge him any money, So, but I wasn't, I helped and everything, but my heart wasn't, I wasn't going to let anybody, in my heart, because of that fear, right? Yeah. So the person is away, and I'm like, this guy, he just friend. This guy doesn't even know what the hell's going on. Here, this crazy woman is in love with him, and what the hell am I gonna do? I was still feeling it, right? So I was supposed to express it, and I went, how am I gonna tell this guy that I'm in love with him? He would just say, you're fucking crazy, you're a crazy woman. So, but I wanted to continue the communication with the Sentinels and the Guardians, and I wanted to heal. So I went and did it. I went ahead and did it and told him what happened. And believe me or not, that's what happened. He took it okay, he said whatever, but he wasn't going to love me back. He understood, and we can be amazing friends. And he said he loved me deeply as a friend, but no more. And I was, on one hand, I was thinking, I don't want to settle for that. And on for the other hand, I don't want to be with him either, because I got my life set up. He was in another country. Actually, he was in Canada. So I wasn't going to move anywhere. No way. I'm 60 and I'm happy where I am. I'm not going to move anywhere. There's no way. I'm going to go any other country. I'm happy the way I am. I don't want to get married. I don't want to, I felt so much love for this man, but it went as far as that, not crazy to go move with him or move near him or even want to see him in person, right? It was something that I just wanted to keep it like that on the internet, right? So I expressed it, blah, 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 and then they told me what happened. What happened was, this is really beautiful. It made me cry because it's so beautiful, I think. Yeah, it was horrible for me. Experiencing it was horrible and crazy and having to tell the person that, and with the fear that he's going to say, you're fucking crazy, you need help. So basically this is what happened. My essence, right? And this is for everybody, by the way. But my essence, or what you call your inner self, or your higher self, or whatever you want to call, but it's your essence, right? That my essence had certain things that happened to her children. I'm going to talk like human, okay? I'm not going to tell you like, so you can understand a little better. So she got all these children, right? I'm one of her children. And in reality, the essence is you. You, eventually you become, it's a long story, but basically your essence is you, it's your energy, is you, but not physically, okay? So, so she got her children, and one of her children. And one of her children, and a few, right? And there was a situation, and the person could not move on, because when there's a trauma, a terrific trauma, that person cannot move on, right? And so when that happens, essence cannot really advance, move on. It continued to expand, but it needs like that little bump, do something with that. The essence cannot just go and say goodbye and leave you to suffer. No, essence knows when you're suffering, and sometimes you're not listening, so it's very difficult for the essence to communicate with you, right? To give you the help, it give you all the energy, but if you're close like I was, well, you're not gonna get anything. You're not. So this is what happened. One of the children, this woman, it was a very reputable oracle, and they say it was like, it's hard to explain this, but it's not really, is before millions of years ago, but at the same time, millions of years ago, it's not different than 200 years ago, okay? You see like, wow, that's millions, no, they call it's past, whatever but yeah, it's still everything is still in the present, you understand? Okay, so this woman was very reputable oracle. In this reality where she lived, they have, it's a reality where everything is governed, very strict, almost, you want to say almost military, right? And so, but not a dictatorship, but military, kind of style, like very, very strict. And so she was an oracle who was very, very good. She could predict the future, everything. She could see everything. And so the government, whatever governed that area, they were very, wary about her, because whatever she said, it could fuck up the whole system, the government. It could just crumble, or whatever she said, because she was very reputable, and, she was very good. So anyway, she met this guy, I think it's Kion, the name, I don't know, I forgot now. I have it somewhere written down, Kion, I think it is. She met this guy, and I gotta get the names of both of them because I wrote it down. What was her name? Ezra, I think it is. I have it written down. No. Okay, I gotta find the name, but so she okay. So she met this guy, and she fell deeply in love with him, and he loved her too, But he's very rigid, His grandfather, his father, generations in his family, they work for the government. Let's call it like a police, like military, but they're like, like police, right? I guess more than police, it's like a military system, and I guess, I don't know if it would be something like no, you couldn't. There's no way, maybe like dictatorship, kind of almost. And everybody that works for the government is like part of that dictatorship, right? So she met this guy. He's the father, grandfather, everybody's generation of work as these officers, right? And they're supposed to keep peace, looking that everything is, everybody's following rules. So they fell in love, right? Blah, blah, blah. But they gave him a job, and his job was to make sure, keep an eye on her. Okay, keep an eye on her. But she loved him, and she shared with him, what she saw, her things, her future, whatever the thing, her vision that she's. And so he turned her in to the government, and they put her in prison. They imprisoned her because they couldn't have her. She was seeing what was going to come, what was happening with the government. And so they imprisoned her. But he's the one who turned her in, this man that she fell in love with. And so what happened then, it was horrible for this woman. Not only she's in prison, but the one who betrayed her was this man that she loved deeply. A man that told her he loved her too. You see? She let all the guards down. She fell deeply in love with this man, and she shared everything, and he betrayed her. So she couldn't get over that, the betrayal, and now in prison, for life. So my essence and the essence of that guy, okay, my essence is this woman's essence, right? We're like sisters. And the guy that betrayed her, right? His essence conspire. His essence and my essence conspire for his brother. Let's call it brother, right? His brother to meet me, right? Why? Because they were going to make me fall in love with this guy, right? Out of the blue, fall in love with him. And the reason they told me they did that, my essence did that, was because from all her children, I was the only one who could do that. Help her. Help my essence, and my sister with this karma. They call it karma. So I needed to clear this karma. So they said not only because I was the only one who could do that, but in this time, people the veil is very thin. There's many things happening right now. And it was a perfect time to do it. And I would be helping my essence, right? Because I'm bumping there with one of the children suffering and the sister who's suffering. Because there's no past and future. She's still suffering. She's still there, suffering, right? Oh, we're still suffering then. So there was a karma there, big karma. And also for him, because they told me that he regretted deeply. He just every day feeling guilty and regretting it really deeply that he turned her in. So he was having a karma too. He had a karma. So his essence also needed to clear this karma, right? So they put us together. And so I don't know exactly what happened, but they put me together, and all of a sudden, boom, Cupid, right? I fell in love with the guy. Here is a guy, I don't even know what he looked like. I don't even know what he looked like. I just know, I talked to him, on Discord because we play video games, and he had attracted physically, and I feel like deep love for this guy, and I was like, what the fuck am I doing? And at the same time, I couldn't stop it. So they told me, don't stop it. Let it flow. Feel the love. Feel the love. Feel the love. Express it. And I have to go through you know, yeah, it's they told me I was they said that I was a warrior, that my essence and the Sentinels and the Guardians, they bow to me, so the incredible work I did to clear this karma, right? Because think about it, you fall in love, you don't even know the guy what he looks like, and top of that, you got to tell him you love him and you want to be with him and all this shit, but at the same time you don't want to be with him. You're not going to meet him, and you're not going to go anywhere. And the guy would think you're crazy. We just play video game and you're like fall in love with me. You're fucking crazy, But I gotta experience that, and what he does, and they say doesn't matter what he thinks. You do it. They told me you do it, and what he does with it is his, not yours. And even though they told me he need to also experience the love that you're offering, right? If he doesn't accept it because he's too rigid, then that's his thing. That's his karma. He needs to fix that. You know what I mean? Because the karma that one of you sisters, quote sisters, o sea, any of your essence children that is having a karma is your karma too, okay? It's everybody's in the family suffering. So if he didn't accept my love and express love for me, like say, yeah, I love you, then that's his problem. They told me. You did yours. He's supposed, you can't force him, and eventually maybe he'll find out, but it's not your thing. And doesn't matter what he feels, doesn't matter his opinion or what he do with it. So I have to go through all this, that's, I was, oh man, I gotta tell this guy I love him, but I'm gonna do it to help my essence and to help myself, because if my essence is suffering, well, my essence didn't suffer, but if one of the children is suffering, I'm suffering. And then I understood how I had that betrayal thing, that I didn't want to be friends with anybody, too close, be friends, but not really just allow, the love to flow toward that person, because I was afraid of betrayal. Remember I told you that I had that? And I understood a lot of things, why I didn't want to fall in love with any man. Right? And on top of that, because of that karma, then I go into a family where the men, like, the relationship between my mother and my father, that's because of this karma. You see, understand? It's crazy, but that karma, when you're born, then you come into a family that have kind of echo those karmas, right? So, of course, I come in a family where my father cheated on my mother suffered, so it's the same shit all over. So, by me doing this, I not only clear this karma for this woman, that she was suffering, but also for my essence, and also for myself, and also for all the other siblings, all of my essence children, but also for my children, my family here. My children, even my ancestors, even my mother after she's dead. It's incredible how the karma works. So, and karma is not something you did bad. But I'll explain more about that in another video, because I don't want to keep it too long. But I'll explain to you what is karma. What really is karma. But in this case, it was something I didn't do bad, right? It was something that the woman couldn't get over, the suffering, the betrayal. It's horrible. And so she was stuck in there, and I needed to come and rescue her, right? And so after they told me this story, I said, I have to do it. Of course I have to do it. Helping my essence and helping my essence children, of course I'm going to do it. And screw if what he thinks of me. When they told me I had to do that, I said, yeah, I'm going to tell him I love him. And I'm going to tell him I want to be with him. Even sexual, I want to be with him. Fuck yeah. I'm going to help my essence. I'm going to help, this woman that is suffering. And screw him. His brother betrayed her. You know what I mean? He betrayed his brother betrayed my sister. But yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to, it's up to him if he wants to rescue his brother, but I'm going to rescue my sister. I'm going to rescue her. And that's going to be it, I'm gonna help her. She's suffering in prison. So I know all these stories sounds crazy for you. For me, doesn't sound crazy. It's beautiful. You know, it's and I'll share more stuff that the Sentinels, and these Guardians share with me everything that about anything. Because all it is, that's why I haven't been able to do videos, because I'm just listening, taking notes. So anyway, now we jump to that's how they started communicating with me. So I gotta thank him, this guy. I decided not to continue talking to him anymore. We were, he was cool, and then we played. We continued to talk and play and laugh and have a good time. But then I thought, it's time to just say goodbye. He didn't do his part, and he could never say to me, "I love you." He would say, "I love you" as a friend, and that's okay, because I know my essence was happy, and my sister was happy. Everybody was happy on my side. I can't do anything about his side, so I move on. I cut the relationship, and we don't even. I block everything, any communication with him, just to move on. But anyways, so now jump. Why all this happened? All this happened because I needed to communicate with them, the Sentinels and the Guardians, and other Guardians. And I needed to communicate with them because it was urgent. They told me it was an urgency for next year, and I needed to continue to communicate with them, but also heal everything. It's very important, they told me, the stuff that they told me to do. Every day I have to do it. Because comes next year, the air energy is going to increase. The frequency of the earth is going to increase so dramatically that some people may, how they say it? Like, live this reality, right? And I don't know exactly what it means, living that reality. If it means that the person will go, it's like schizophrenia, or the person will actually disappear. I don't know, because I'm going to ask them, but they say, it didn't sound too good to me. So they told me it's very important to ground yourself. So I'm going to tell you right now, and I'll continue. If you want more information, I'll give you more, but I don't want to put fear. But very important that you ground yourself every single day, okay? Because the Earth's frequency is increasing in such a dramatic way that you're not going to feel like your feet are on the ground, right? You're going to feel dizzy, like a disassociation, like what the hell, like mental, right? So in order for you not to feel that, you have to ground yourself to the earth. Let me put it in a scenario that is maybe symbolic, maybe not so symbolic, but let's say that the earth is flying, right? Decided to get off the ground and move, and if you're not anchored to the earth, you're going to be limbo, just flying out there, and the earth is moving away from you, and you're out there in the air with nothing to hold on to it. That's about what is going to happen next year. So I gave you the introduction to 2026, and then I will continue because I'm getting too long, but I needed to give you the whole introduction of how everything happened with the Sentinels. And then I'm going to continue in my next video, I'm going to talk about how to prepare for 26, what they told me, right? Like one of the things they did was showing me how to use tincture, how to make tincture, which I never even had any interest in this, but all these tinctures, right? Like especially dandelion and milk thistle, right? And mullein, because I may not be able to buy it, get medicine, so I needed to make it, and they showed me how to make it, and it's so freaking easy to make it. So they told me what to, how prepare, put water, food, all this stuff, but anchor myself, and all this good stuff. Okay, so I want to give you that. I think you, Sherry, you live, I don't know, for what I see, you live like in a farm. You know, you have little chickens, so you'll be okay. Anyways, I'll continue in the next video, and then, yeah. And thank you for listening to my long stories. Okay, bye.